Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics as Non-Classics. This is episode number 2354 and double number 2248. We have a Batman trade and a Swamp Thing trade. The only two things in common is that both books, basically, this book is written by Ram V, the other one written by Ram V in the future, because that one took like stuff from Alan Moore's run for Swamp Thing. First we have is Batman Comics by Ram V, Gotham Nocturne, Overture. Now, your first obvious question is, what is an overture? The overture is, from what I've read about an overture, it's the opening musical. It's like the first thing you see. Overture is something that movies used to have back in the 60s, where you just play this music and then go to the movie itself. It's basically the opening, it's the opening salvo of a story. Mostly put the uses for plays. And the whole thing in this one, the whole story is called the Gothic Opera. Because Batman used to deal stuff with Gothic, why not? That's the whole purpose of this story arc, and it's still going. It's in multiple segments. This is the Overture. This book collects issues 1062 to 1065. Now, the thing with this particular trade for this series, I have been buying this trade series since Pierre de Tomasi did his second run of the book, which actually was longer than his original run. And I bought that one, Market Makagi, and this run. This is the third run I basically have gotten for this thing, and it's the second volume one I've come across since I've been buying this stuff. Of course, I have been reviewing Tita Comics for the longest time. I'd say I've probably been reviewing new stuff for Tita Comics in a row, probably since Rebirth in 2016. So, we have this here. We written by Ram V, who is a brand new writer. And I mistakenly thought that the Tower of Bats, the Shadows of Bats stuff, I thought that was the last thing of the previous writer. Oh no, she did one more trade afterwards, and then she wrapped up a run. This is the start of the current run we have here. It took a bit of time for this book to come out because this book is, I think it's up to about 1070, I think it is by now. Let me take a look here about that. Me. Let's see. Okay, Test Comics, here we go. Of course, last year for this book came out a little over a month ago. The reason why that is because the series is in hiatus because of Night Terrors. Okay, so it was 1073. That was the last issue that was released for this book. Now, this book also has a backup feature. Something that Margaret Tamagaki brought back the book when she basically took over as the writer. Because, of course, she had... the backup features book is done by Cy Spurrier, a guy who's going to be taking over Flash. Also a guy who Critical Thinking refers to him as a guy who writes forgettable stories. He's like, does anyone read the stories he wrote? I do. X-Men Legacy, X-Force, the guy did run for Justice League, he did this... The guy did a bunch of stuff. How can you say this work is forgettable? By the way, his feature in here, the first one, is focused on Jim Gordon. Yes, Jim Gordon, called Coda. It's a 3-parter with him and Harvey Bullock, who at this time, Harvey is not part of GCPD. He's a PI now. It's a great 3-parter. It involves Two-Face. The last issue published this book, 1065. This has the other backup feature in the book, which focuses on a completely different character here. Now, Overture, in case you're curious, though, is roughly a 5-part story. Yeah, and the Tale of Three Halves, that's the other one. This is a story focused on Two-Face. That's most what it is. Now, the artists you have these issues, you have Raphael Albuquerque on the artwork, which you think of someone like Albuquerque, I'm like, Worker Ram B, I'm like, that is really cool. Raphael Albuquerque is a really good artist. He does have history of Batman. I believe he worked on several Batman books prior to this. But him working with Ram V was a good choice on part of DC to do it. They have Danny doing the backup story. The one of this really good cover right here, that's Evan Kell Gage. Yeah. And plus, you also gotta love when you open it up. It's like basically like the post you see for an actual play. Yes. Now you might think, have I been to plays? Yes, I have. The first major play I went to was Phantom of the Opera. I've also seen 9 to 5. There was a weird one. There was one involving like one set in New York. I love Phantom of the Opera. It's a great play. I've heard they discontinued it after about 40 years, almost like a little over 30 years, basically being on, basically on there. So, mostly put in the case of this opening story arc here, it's mostly Batman investigating these zombies. Also, Talia's here as well for reasons. Of course, he thinks he's slowing down. Nightwing is only in the opening issue. He's here probably to remind people, hey, I exist in these comics, so basically have them do that. So that's most we have. It's basically a murder mystery, and the way the trade puts it here now, when they did it over in Jonah Hex, they put all the Jonah Hex at first, then the backup feature. Here they put exactly how the original issues basically published it: main story, backup story. So, oh yeah, and also Two-Face here as well with a mask on, acting like he's the Phantom of the Opera. And his story continues in basically the backup feature. Yep. Also, for some reason, Batman is now wearing the Frank Miller costume. I do not know the reason why he's doing this for. Let's see if we can find a good picture here. Like some of the artwork depicts him in the Frank Miller costume. Let's find a good one here. Here we go. Yeah, that's the Frank Miller costume. No idea why he's wearing with that bat symbol, because Frank Miller has his bat symbol has this thing where it stretches across Batman's whole chest. That's the only thing that Frank Miller does. I'm not sure exactly like why he decided to do it for, but it could be the Frank Miller symbol, but it's basically the traditional suit that Batman's had for a while. But this book is just so good. I love the mystery evolving here. And it's a major storyline that's still going on right now. Now, would I think that Ram V will leave as soon as we wrap up this story? I highly doubt it. Especially since this story just started. But this is just the first segment. But I do recommend this to people who are fans of Detective Comics. Also, the logo of the book changed. Yeah, the logo with previous writer looked completely different. Alright, I'm going to give this book here a 9 out of 10. It's an excellent book. Next up we have is The Saga of Swamp Thing, Volume 3 by Alan Moore. Collecting issues 35 through 42. Yep. Now, these issues, particularly, by the way, your artwork for these issues are by Rick Foch, man, nice guy, never Alan Moore. Steve Rusty, Alfred Akia, Ron Reynolds, Stan Walsh, and John Telbin. Rick Foch does pretty much just issues 37. Yeah, he just does 37. Mostly just Stephen Bossy does the artwork for the first two issues, 35 and 36. By the way, this is for the second volume for this series, which is the longest volume to date at 177 issues. Have I read them? Yes, I have. Excuse me. Mostly put in these issues, if you're really curious, it's a lot of stuff happening here. Now, this does have the first appearance of a familiar character. Trying to find his first appearance here because in case you're curious, though, did they collect in the first trade when he had this on spin-up book? No. Let me look him up on here. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see. Issue 37. I think this is 37, isn't it? Let me take a look here. Yeah, this is 37. We had the first appearance of John Constantine. Now, I, of course, pronounce it John Constantine because that's what everyone else refers to as. Alan Moore versus Constantine. I'm going to refer to him as John Constantine because that's what everybody else referred to him as. Heck, even when he popped up an arrow, he referred himself as that. Now, in the case of Alan Moore himself, I'm sure he probably does not care about the fact John Constantine appeared in live action twice. He probably doesn't give a damn because he doesn't like the fact he was working adapted for any kind of media. This all stems when they adapted V Vendetta and From Hell. And also League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He hated those adaptations. So he told movie studios, any future adaptation might work, take my name off the credits. So, Abby Arcane is in this book too. And it's mostly just some stuff going here. I do appreciate that Alan Moore has established a new character. John Constantine still is around the very day. Yes. He also has Swamp Thing on some investigations in these issues. It's just a lot of stuff happening here. Loosely connected. It's a very mature rated book. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's not really a lot of familiar characters in these issues per se. Not really. Like they go to Louisiana, they go to Maine, they go to various different places, of course, issues. Is the book terrible? No, it isn't. It's actually pretty good. I'm going to give this book I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's Alan Moore. I don't want to disrespect the guy's work. Yep. Here's the strange thing about this. There's actually 2 more trades this run. Yeah, 2 more trades. You think, really? Yes, really. Let's see if we can find it here. Yeah, Swamp Thing, the thing with Alan Moore, he has the longest run in the history of the title. How long was his run, you might ask? Well, he took over issue 20, left issue 64. With this particular one, we are about halfway through. There's about a little more left to review for him. Yeah. Oh, it was 171. My mistake. If you're really curious, though, who was the last writer of this book? It was me. Now, Alan Moore was not the original writer of this book. It was Mark Beliso. But in the case of who was the last writer, it was Mark Millar. Yes. And he had a kind of lengthy run. It's more like about 20... Let's see. It is about almost a 30-issue run. Yeah, it's about 30 issues. I think it's about 29. Yeah. And if you're really curious, though, about how many more trades are left to go for... Because we're only on the second trade. Excuse me. Still a little more to go. Because I believe there's still like a few more books left to go for him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's with this book here, we're halfway through his run. So we got about 3 more trades left. And then we're done with Saga of the Swamp Thing. Yep. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for particular review. Stay tuned for tomorrow for reviews more of Super Sentai. No anime tomorrow, just Super Sentai and some comic corners. Okay, next video. Bye.